Well, one chapter ended today and another began in the case of baby Sammy Nikolayev. The baby gained national attention when police and Child Protective Services took him into protective custody after his mother simply took him out of a hospital without permission, but went to another hospital to get a second opinion for her baby. Newsstand's Gabriel Rojas was in court today when the county agreed to dismiss the case. Gabriel?
Dale, this is something the county had signaled was a possibility at the previous hearing in May. What it means is that Anna and Alex Nikolayev will no longer be subject to visits by CPS, and they won't have to go to trial to stop those visits. But the end of the juvenile dependency court involvement gives way to the beginning of a civil case against CPS and the Sacramento Police Department. Cameras weren't allowed inside the juvenile dependency court when attorneys representing CPS and the Nikolayev baby agreed to drop the case. Before moving to dismiss, the Assistant County Counsel wanted to make it clear that CPS does not recognize any wrongdoing on its part when social workers and police officers entered the Nikolayev home back in April and took the baby into protective custody. In fact, they argue that it's because of these efforts that the boy is in good health today. The attorney said with that goal met, there's no longer a need to stay in the parents' lives.
I could cry, but I can, smile because we're together again and nobody can take him away. Even those people who tried to destroy our lives.
Despite moving to dismiss the case, in court the county insisted that they were originally right to seize the baby, who they say was in congestive heart failure.
What we heard was their version of events, obviously spun to protect their interest, to show some sort of justification for what they have done.
Medical records show another doctor cleared the baby to go home with his parents. That's why the Nikolayevs say this case is far from over.
We will force them to compensate this family for the losses, for the harms, for the nightmare that they went through of 48 hours of not even knowing where their child was. We will take them to task for the police officers who attacked Alex, tackled him, handcuffed him, put him in a police car.
It's days that you cannot forget what you went through. Yeah,
we don't wish to anyone to have, to come through what we went through, We don't want to see this. And, it needs to be changed.
Now, I had a chance to speak off camera with the attorney representing CPS. She told me she still couldn't comment on the case, even now that it's dismissed, but since I was allowed to sit in on the hearing, I was able to talk to her about what was said in open court. For example, in court, she mentioned the reason CPS took the baby was because of a medical emergency. However, when I asked about the Kaiser doctor who cleared the baby to go home, we couldn't talk about that because it wasn't addressed in open court.
And that's really the key question here that still remains. But again, they would only talk about what was said in court, so they wouldn't answer some of those questions for you today.
Sure, and when I mentioned to the Nikolayev attorney their reasoning, he brought up the fact of, well, if it was an emergency, why wait a day later to get there? Yeah. Why no ambulance? Why only police and social workers? So still a lot of questions out there.
Yeah, because they did wait, about 24 hours before they finally went and took the baby. All right. Gabriel, thanks.